PlayStation had their February 2026 State of Play today, and I think overall it wasn't that bad. Surprisingly, it was pretty good. I got some notes here. I think they showed like 30 something games, like 30 plus games today. You know, there was a lot of filler, a lot of remasters, but I think overall it was a good show. There's some bangers definitely in here, some good potential. So let's just get into it. The first game they started off with was Kena Scars of Cosmora. Now, I know Kena Bridge of Spirits came out back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and I definitely put it on my list of games to play. Never got around to it. It is still on the backlog. I'm assuming it did pretty good enough to get a sequel. This is, again, I didn't play the first one, so I don't know, but from the looks of it, this one looks like they're taking an open world, or maybe, there's a lot more open spaces. I don't know if the first game was like that. This is just my impression from looking at this. Yeah, I'm not too sure on the story. It looks like, she just has these abilities to connect with animals, or yeah, I don't know too much about it. It looks cool. It's definitely going to be on my list. I probably won't get around to it, just like I did the first game. It's going to be put on the backlog. And we'll see if a third game comes out from this. Second game they showed off was Ghost of Yotei, or Yotai. I don't know how you pronounce that properly, but Ghost of Yotai Legends. Yeah, again, I did not try out Ghost of Tsushima Legends. I know there's a community around this game. From my experience with Ghost of Tsushima, it's solid. Might be pretty cool. Next small news that was shown is Death Stranding 2 on the PC. Me personally, I never found any sort of interest in the Death Stranding universe. Again, I don't really have much to say as far as it's coming to PC if you haven't played it already, or if that's what you were waiting for. Next game that was shown after that is For Loop. From my understanding, so this game was shown off back a while ago, the last State of Play or the one before that, I can't recall. And it's a 4-player co-op shooter. Every time you die, you respawn, and you're basically upgrading your character, upgrading your squad to proceed into the level or the next level. They were showing here that every upgrade is a level within itself. So to get that upgrade, you need to complete the level as a team. Again, it looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if it's free to play. If it is, that's definitely a plus, besides all the microtransactions and battle passes that'll come out of that. But overall, the game looks decent. It's nothing I'm very excited for. I definitely won't be playing if it does cost, $60-$70, even 40-50 bucks. I'm just not interested in it, but I definitely would give it a try if it was free to play. After that, they showed off Pragmata. And this game I'm actually pretty interested in. The universe is kind of weird. It's one of those Capcom games where you don't really know what's going on. Probably guessing there's a lot of exploring the world and picking up logs to get the backstory, and, all types of videos and lore can probably spawn from this game alone. I haven't gone around to playing the demo. They did announce that the demo's out. I'm pretty sure it has been out for a while now, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't gone around to it. Very interested in the game, so maybe I'll give it a shot now. I hear good things about it, and I hear that there's a weird puzzle system to the combat, or when you're shooting you have to do these puzzles while you're in a combat situation. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look more into it, or just obviously try it out myself, but definitely a game that I'm interested in playing. After that, they showed off Resident Evil Requiem. And this is definitely one of the bigger games that I'm excited about. Not the biggest Resident Evil fan, but after trying out Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake, that one was a little less polished and not as good, I would say, as the second one. After playing those games, I'm definitely more of a fan now of this style, or this sort of, HD remake that Capcom is going through with all the Resident Evil games. Leon Kennedy definitely looks older. Looks like he's also, if I'm not mistaken, infected or has something going on with him. They showed that in the trailer. I really think Capcom is good at giving you that feeling of being alone, and sort of the horror element with zombies and all these weird monsters popping out from around corners. sort of stressing you out in tight hallways as well. The game looks really good. Comes out later this month, if I'm not mistaken, end of this month. Definitely gonna be picking that up. After that, they showed off Legacy of Kain, the Defiance Remastered. It's here for the people who want that. I'm not very familiar with this franchise. It definitely looks cool. I'm interested in it. Don't know if I'd be picking up day one, but it would definitely be something I get around to eventually. I don't have much to say about it. It's there for the people who like it. The next game that was shown was Brigadin Abyss. It's an anime game. I'm not very interested in this. There's plenty other things to play. After that, Dead or Alive 6, Last Round. I'm not too big in the fighting game community. I'm curious as to who still plays these types of games. If there's a big community and I don't know about it, that would shock me. I'd never see these games really talked about. Next game that was showed was Control Resonant. So back when the first Control game came out, I didn't pick it up day one. I knew it existed. I sort of got a feeling of what it was about. Eventually I did pick it up when they had a sale for the game, and it was very, very cheap. I think like 10, 15 bucks. I played it. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't really into it. I know there's some sort of psychological meaning behind the game, and there's a lot of hidden messages. I did look up some YouTube videos trying to figure out what was going on. I did give it a shot, but overall it wasn't very fun for me. I do remember sort of towards the end of the game, and it's not even a very long game, the first one, getting frustrated trying to beat the game, trying to just rush through it because I wasn't enjoying it, but I was already so far into the game and so invested. I told myself that I would try to finish it. Yeah, so this one, if I'm not mistaken, Control Resonant, you're playing the character's brother from the first game, and I don't know if it's much of the same. More power to you. The game's coming. So next game that was shown was Crimson Moon. This game, it looks great. The combat looks decent. The world looks kind of interesting, right? It's got this sort of medieval demonic sort of Doom thing going on. I don't know the company behind this game. If I'm not mistaken, they're called Playable Monsters. The game looks decent. The big thing about it, if I were to pick this up, would be because of co-op, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like there will be co-op in the game. The way the trailer presented two characters, maybe they're just two playable characters that you can swap between, and I do take that back. Now that I'm looking at it, there probably is co-op because I'm looking at the trailer here and I saw the two characters they shown in the trailer on the screen at the same time fighting a monster there, so it's probably co-op most likely. That's the only reason I would pick up the game. Co-op makes everything better. If you're a developer listening to this, co-op makes a lot of games better. Just add co-op. I'm definitely interested. I don't know if I'll be picking it up day one, but I'll definitely be playing it sometime. After that, they showed off Beast of Reincarnation. Again, I've already talked about this game during the Xbox Developer Direct, so if you want to go check out that video, I've already gave my opinions on it. They gave us another trailer here, some gameplay. It looks good. Still very much interested in the game, so we'll see what happens when it comes out. After that, they showed off Rayman, the 30th anniversary. I never played these games growing up as a kid. A hardcore fan base out there somewhere. They definitely revolutionized. They were part of, I know that the Rayman games revolutionized platforming, and they were definitely one of the contributing factors besides Mario, obviously. So it's out there for the people that want this sort of thing. Another plus is that they're releasing a physical edition of it, so definitely for collectors, I think it'd be a good pickup for the people who like that stuff. Shortly after that, they showed off Mina the Hollower. It looks alright. I'm not gonna be playing this. It's there if you are interested. Right after that, Neva Prologue was shown. It looks fine. Not very much interested in playing that. Again, this was definitely a slower part in the state of play. They were showing off back-to-back smaller games. After that, they showed us Yako Shinobi Ops. I don't know if this is in the same universe or a sequel or a spin-off. Kind of reminded me of Shadow Tactics. Might be saying that wrong as well. But it's this sort of top-down ninja real-time tactics game. It looks cool. The trailer that they showed us definitely looked rough. It is a ways away, so they do have time to polish it. Again, it didn't look too bad. It probably has co-op. If this is by the same people or inspired by that, it most likely will have co-op. And so after that, they showed off one of the weirdest games one of the weirdest games, one of the most odd looking games that I thought, in my opinion, is Project Windless. I know nothing about the story, what's going on. There's some sort of universe that's out there about this. I would love to know. Project Windless, you're playing as this chicken man, big rooster guy. And it looks like it has gameplay elements of Dynasty Warrior and a lot of action RPGs that are coming out. Just the open battlefields, having a bunch of minion troops, and just the character alone. You're towering over all these minions and smaller troops, and like one swipe of your sword and you're knocking 7 guys up in the air. It definitely looked very interesting. Now I don't know if it's open world or not. This could be a pretty decent game. This could be pretty cool. Again, definitely very, very weird. It's got my interest. It could be fun to play. We'll just see when it comes out. Now, another game that was shown off that I don't know if many people are hyped about or, very interested in, it was Star Wars Galactic Racer. Now, yeah, it's a pod racer game. Definitely looks better than the one that came out ages ago. It's made by former Burnout devs, or with the same engine that Burnout was made on. If you know anything about Burnout, when it's all about the wrecks, the racing is solid, but once you hit a wall or hit another vehicle, you just go up in the air into a million pieces, and it's like this very cinematic slow motion. The camera pans around the vehicle and they sort of show you all the damage that you sort of went through, or maybe even the other racer went through. So basically that engine and that concept, but in Star Wars pod racing, which I think is a good mix. Me personally, I do like racing games, but I don't play them. I don't play racing games back to back. I spread them out. It has been a while, and with the Star Wars IP and pod racers, I'm definitely very interested. It looks like they had a story as well. You could possibly sink some hours into it. I don't know about the pricing. If they're asking for $60-$70, then hopefully they show more, because right now it doesn't look like a giant AAA game. And I'm not gonna say it looks like a AA game, but it definitely is on the lower end. So we'll definitely see about the pricing. That might influence if I get the game or not. After that, they showed off 007 First Light. Definitely interested in the game. Going over James Bond when he was younger, sort of his first missions, or maybe it's the story of when he became a 007 agent. I'm not too sure, but it sort of looks like Hitman with more linear missions, more set pieces, very action packed. That was one of my issues with Hitman, was the sandbox. Yes, there's a lot of replayability in the levels, but me personally, I was a fan of the more small, semi-open, open world, open section Hitman games with a lot more action in them. Graphically, it looks pretty good. Hopefully they fix up the frame rate, because every time they've shown it, it did look a little iffy. It looks like frames drop and the game kind of chugs just a little bit. They still got some months to fix it up, so we'll see. After that, it kind of slowed down a bit, and this third-party guy, I forget his name, he sort of had this intro sort of describing what he does at the company. He's basically a third-party representative, and he deals with all the companies that make third-party games, right? Anyways, after that long intro, or just speech, he basically presents Konami. The rest of the segment sort of becomes Konami, and right, so Konami takes over. They start talking about Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, with Metal Gear Solid, I'm not the biggest fan of the universe. It's cool. It's a stealth game with a lot of serious moments, a lot of comedic moments. I couldn't really get into it. The last one I played was Phantom Pain, if I'm not mistaken. That one was definitely, it was a good game. It was solid, but it didn't really interest me enough to stick around and, go back and play older ones, or, want newer ones. It's here for the people that want it. Definitely they're making it more accessible to people who haven't played these games, or, maybe you're just a mega fan and you want to go back and see the universe in, a higher fidelity, right? After Metal Gear Solid, they showed off Darwin's Project. Now, this is made by Konami as well, if I'm not mistaken, or they're a publisher in this. It looked like aesthetically, it's, it's pleasing. The character's cool, playing as an octopus. It just looks like just looks like a classic, physics-based platformer. Every now and then playing one of these is kind of nice, just you can relax, solve a couple puzzles. It looks nice. Darwin's Project, if you can't tell, I'm definitely interested in it. It'll be a fun game to try out. After that, they showed off Castlevania Belmont's Curse. So I guess this is for Castlevania's 40th anniversary. I don't know too much about Castlevania. I know the style of game that it is and all the games that have come after it because of this. I don't know if I will ever get around to it. I'm interested, but it's definitely going to be a backlog game, so I'm probably not going to get around to it anytime soon. After that, they showed off Silent Hill Townfall. So this is obviously in the Silent Hill universe. It's a, psychological horror first-person game from the looks of it. I don't know too much about Silent Hill. I never got to it. I know all the praise that it gets and, definitely the older games. I'm interested in it. I don't know if I'd be picking it up day one. It looked pretty cool. At least the trailer for it, the concept, it has some sort of play on time that was hinted in the trailer. Now, every PlayStation State of Play has to have anime games present that is part of PlayStation. It seems like. After that, they showed off Rev Noir. I got nothing to say about this. I'm not gonna be playing it. If you like these types of games, awesome. It's not for me. So after that anime game, they showed off a trailer for John Wick. Now, I don't know if it has more to the title than that. It definitely looks pretty cool, but it's just a CGI trailer. We didn't really see any gameplay. They could knock it out of the park. We'll see what happens. At the end, when they showed the title card, all I was waiting for was like VR to pop up or some sort of gimmick that was definitely gonna just take my attention away from it, but that never happened. So we'll see. This could be a pretty cool third-person action game or maybe even first-person, but it's definitely not VR, so that's good. After John Wick, they showed off another trailer for Marathon. So I know the gaming community sort of is waiting for this game to fail. I'm sort of in the middle about it, I'm not gonna lie. So the universe and stuff like that, it's not visually appealing. So, when people say that, I definitely get it. It doesn't look great. But one thing I do know about Bungie, and I know it's not the Bungie that made Halo, right? All those guys are gone. But if I'm not mistaken, a lot of guys that made Destiny and worked on Destiny are still there, and they're working on this game. So one thing I could confidently say is the gunplay is probably going to be what holds this game. Now, is it going to knock down Arc Raiders, right, as an extraction shooter? I don't think so. Especially if, the people that play Arc Raiders don't give this game a try and sort of influence people and say, hey, it's actually not that bad. Give it a shot. Yeah, I don't know the lasting power. I'm pretty sure they are charging money for this, so they better bring it, because if not, this game is just gonna be another flop like a couple of the other games that have come out recently. And yeah, it's not gonna last long. We'll see. I'll definitely give it a shot. I don't know if I'll be fully invested or dropping money on this. They did announce that there's going to be a preview weekend or a server slam, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the last day of this month or last week, going into the first week of March, they're going to have a server slam. So definitely, I would say get in on it. I'm going to get in on it, see how I feel about the gameplay and overall, feeling of the game. Yeah, we'll see what happens. After that, they showed off a small game called Big Walk. It looks like a friend slop game. They're trying to capture the feeling of Peak. If you guys know what that game is, when that came out, pretty big for a little bit. This kind of looks like that, but with an open world aspect and different puzzles laid out throughout. Later on, they showed Soros. Now, this is made by the people who made Returnal. I never got around to that game. Definitely interested in that game. I know how if I'm not mistaken, it did receive pretty good reviews on that. So Soros is kind of the same thing, but with the sort of play on dying, becoming stronger, and coming back to progress further in the level. I'm not sure if Returnal had that. If it did, and you guys know, you definitely leave a comment. It looks alright. Again, I haven't played Returnal. We'll see if I get around to this one. It kind of looks like the same thing. I'm interested in the game. I will not be playing this day one. I'm not in a rush. I'm not super excited to get my hands on it. After that, they showed a trailer of Marvel Tokon. Out of all the fighting games that are coming out and planned to come out recently, I think Marvel Tokon is one of them that I'm more excited for. right? Because we've been shown 2XKO, we've been shown Invincible versus. I think there's maybe another fighting game, and then Marvel Tokon, obviously. Out of all of those games, I would say this one I feel has the most people talking about it, and it could just be because it's the Marvel IP, right? It's a big IP. Haven't gotten my hands on this yet. Haven't been in any alphas, any betas, nothing like that. So we'll see. They dropped a trailer of the Unbreakable X-Men. I'm not sure if these characters have already been shown, but they did show off Storm, Magic, and Wolverine, and then this sort of training robot that trains with the X-Men, and she runs all these programs. We'll see what happens. Marvel Tokon. So towards the end, one of the big announcements was the God of War Trilogy remake. So with the 2 God of War games that came out, the God of War reboot, if I'm not mistaken, came out back in 2018, and then the sequel, God of War Ragnarok, those did really well. And obviously, updating the graphics and having that sort of hyper realistic look. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this God of War Trilogy remake. I never had a PlayStation growing up when I was younger, so I missed out on a lot of exclusives, God of War being one of them. I don't think I would ever go back and play the older ones in the state that they are. Even like the HD remasters and stuff, I don't really have any interest in going back to play those. So it's kind of cool that they're making a God of War Trilogy remake in the style of the new God of War. Now I get to experience it, right? Definitely excited for it. Seems like a lot of people are excited for this. And you probably got your crowd too as well. The people that are like, why are we making more remakes? That, which I definitely agree with. There's some things that don't need a remake. God of War, I'm not too sure if it is one that needs it. I can't help but say I'm not excited, right? Like, I very much am. After that, they showed off God of War Sons of Sparta. I'm not sure if it's a co-op game, but it's a 2D side-scroller type game. Kind of has the art style of Streets of Rage, or a most recent one, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, right? Or the TMNT game that came out a while back. It sort of has that art style. I don't think I'm going to be playing this, to be honest. It looks like it's just something to hold off people, or just something. It looks like something to hold off people for a little bit until the God of War Trilogy remake comes out. And I'm not sure if they're going to be releasing all 3 games at once, or if they're going to do one game at a time, base it out. That's kind of what I'm expecting, so we'll see. But yeah, that's what they showed off. They did announce as well that it is available today. Definitely pick it up, give it a try if you want. I don't think I will be, but it's there if you want to play it. Anyways, that sort of wraps up the state of play that they showed off today. Overall, like I said, I thought it was pretty good. They definitely showed off a good amount of games, and I feel like as a gamer, they got something for everybody. Yeah, a lot of these games will be coming out later this year. And by later this year, I mean within the next 3-4 months. Couple announcements, right? They are a year out. They are 6+ months out, coming out later this year. It's definitely it's cool. It's a good time to be a gamer. There's a lot of stuff coming out, definitely within the next couple months as well. At the end of this month, right? There's a couple big games coming out. Again, like I said, good time to be a gamer. That's all I got. Later.